Hi, I'm Ray Collins. Haley is off tonight. Rarely does one project draw such a reaction, but tonight Sarasota residents showed their displeasure for a high-rise called The View, or as some say, lack of view. 18-story high-rise in the corner of US 41 and Gulfstream. Ironically, it's called The View, but to many people, it blocks the view. The project appears to be right up to the street.
To have development that's just right up in our face and that's creating excessive traffic congestion and is right up to the sidewalks, it just doesn't make any sense.
And now 2 blocks to the north, some say this 18-story Embassy Suites project is following the same curbside pattern.
It's time for the city to stop business as usual.
And that's why all these people filled a Selby Library meeting room Thursday night. Organizers have formed a committee called STOP.
They're saying stop and change, have better growth, better development.
Commissioner Liz Alpert wasn't on the city commission when The View was approved, and she's not sure if she would have voted for it.
I certainly would have given it consideration. Whether I would have passed it at the time, I can't say.
But Bharat Patel is a Sarasota business owner, and he believes it's all right for a city to have a variety of looks.
I've seen new urbanist models, been walkable models. I think it's good to have different kinds of buildings facing the street.
And the citizens group called STOP does plan to have regular meetings.
And I can tell you without fail, as was alluded to by the officer, that we are dealing with an epidemic of proportions I just can't even express.
Sarasota Police, joined by County EMS and the organization First Step Recovery, to shed light on how bad the heroin epidemic really is right now on the Suncoast. In the past 2.5 months within the city of Sarasota, there have been 44 overdoses, 8 of which resulted in deaths. And EMS overdose calls have doubled compared to last year. Police want anyone with an addiction to come forward, not so they can be arrested, but so they can help save their life. Same topic in Manatee County tonight, a forum held at the Manatee Community Foundation featuring a panel discussion. Get this, in July alone, they say the number of heroin-related deaths was 64, more than 2 a day. Tonight's gathering was a community call to action.
What we need to do is look at treatment. For instance, people that are overdosing, if we could get those people that are overdosing and have been given Narcan, say, in the emergency room or by first responders, if we can get them into treatment, that would get them on the treatment road and would be helpful to them and improve the quality of life for the community in general.
She says the state needs higher capacity and more funding, both for substance abuse and mental health centers. A solemn ceremony at Sarasota Police headquarters tonight. The parents of murdered children held their annual day of remembrance. The gathering is open to anybody who has experienced a loved one being taken.
It's important so that people can connect and not feel so isolated in their grief. Homicide grief is very complicated and it's unlike any other. And so coming together and seeing other survivors who've experienced similar circumstances helps them feel supported and connected.
After the ceremony, some held a candlelight tribute at the nearby judicial complex. The mayor of Charlotte has imposed a midnight curfew during a 3rd night of protests over a police shooting. And as ABC's Heather Walaga tells us, North Carolina is now under a state of emergency.
No justice, no peace, no racism, police.
For a 3rd straight night, protesters took to the streets of Charlotte. A heavy police presence, backed up by more than 400 National Guard troops, didn't deter crowds from demonstrating against the fatal police shooting of Keith Lamont Scott, a 43-year-old black man. Scott was shot Tuesday by a black officer, Brentley Vinson. Police say Scott refused their commands to drop a handgun, which they say was recovered at the scene. Some witnesses say Scott had no gun. Others say he held a book. Thursday, authorities allowed Scott's family their first look at videos of the incident. In a statement, their lawyers said, after watching the videos, the family again has more questions than answers. When he was shot and killed, Mr. Scott's hands were by his side, and he was slowly walking backwards. Police say they will not make the videos public until the investigation is over.
This family does not agree with rioting or innocent individuals being injured or killed.
On Wednesday, demonstrations turned to bedlam as angry crowds clashed with police. Tear gas and flash grenades were not enough to keep protesters, some masking their faces, from smashing windows. and blocking roads. This man was shot, police say not by them. He later died. Charlotte's mayor has put a midnight curfew in effect until 6 a.m. So far, protests have remained peaceful. Heather Wallaga, ABC News, Charlotte.
Meantime, in Tulsa tonight, criminal charges against this police officer who fatally shot 40-year-old Terrence Crutcher last week. Police video shows the minutes surrounding his death. Crutcher is seen walking with his hands up. He's then tasered by one officer and shot by another, Officer Betty Shelby. Crutcher did not have a gun, but the officer's attorney says Crutcher had ignored repeated demands and appeared to be under the influence of drugs.
And then his left hand goes into the car window, and that's when she fired her shot.
The window was up, so how could he be reaching into the car if the window is up and there's blood on the glass?
Officer Shelby is now charged with first-degree manslaughter. She is on unpaid leave. Well, the summer-like heat continues, minus those showers. Let's get the first forecast now from our chief meteorologist, Bob Harrigan.
Thanks, Ray. Right now it's 82 degrees, but it feels like 87 out there. Not a lot of rain around today to cool things down, and calm conditions making it feel even warmer. No breeze to cool you off. Showers were very limited across most of the peninsula. Had a lot more activity down to the south due to a little bit more moisture trapped down there, but we're seeing high and dry conditions again. Just spotty showers here and there breaking out throughout the late afternoon and evening. Most of that action was well inland, and there wasn't much at all. And a little unusual to see that, and that's a result of this dry air that continues to stay in place really across much of the peninsula. Although it's starting to moisten up a bit and that dry air is starting to fade a bit, our rain chances will increase somewhat, not tomorrow, but on Friday it appears. As a result of that, the overnight forecast calling for temperatures to stay above average. Well, more in our forecast in just a few. Ray?
Thank you, Bob. 3 neighbors of that Mosaic sinkhole in Polk County have filed a federal lawsuit. 3 weeks ago, more than 200 million gallons of wastewater leaked into the Florida aquifer, which provides water to millions statewide. Mosaic says it contained the leak and that the water is safe, but the 3 residents are seeking to recover damages, including for their possible loss of private wells. Bradenton's police chief is calling claims made by a former deputy chief reckless as an internal investigation is underway into possible evidence theft. Former Deputy Chief Warren Merriman, who was fired by the department in 2014 and is now running for mayor, claims that money, guns, and possibly drugs were stolen from the evidence room inside BPD. Now, the chief, Melanie Bevan, has acknowledged the investigation and issued this statement: that all firearms at the department have been accounted for, and to instill fear in the community based on unfounded accusations is intolerable. A Bradenton attorney gave us this reaction today.
Anytime you have allegations of impropriety with evidence, whether it be drugs or money or anything along those lines, they have to take it very seriously, because if they don't, then it affects the integrity of all their investigations and the security of their evidence.
Bevan says details of the investigation will be released once it's complete. An alert for those who have Yahoo accounts. The company says information associated with at least 500 million accounts has been stolen. Yahoo says it believes someone acting as a government agent was behind the breach, which goes back to 2014. The information that may have been compromised includes names, email addresses, telephone numbers, and dates of birth. Yahoo urges users to change their password and security questions and review their accounts for suspicious activity. Governor Rick Scott authorizing $25 million to develop a Zika virus vaccine. Health officials will draw up a grant program for universities and others interested in doing the research. In total now, the governor has authorized $61 million for Zika as he continues urging congressional leaders to pass legislation for federal funding. Up next, the official Suncoast forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. And plans for a new place to see the movies on the Suncoast. We'll have details. He lost his wife, and now he could lose his freedom. The latest on Anthony Weiner and his cell phone.
Hurricane season is here, so when severe weather threatens, count on the official Suncoast Storm Team at ABC 7.
We're armed with the most advanced weather technology.
And focus on the Suncoast.
The official Suncoast Storm Team at ABC 7. We're here for you. The all-new MySuncoast.com. Just another way we're here for you.
Whether you're a homeowner looking for a professional installation or a contractor looking for top quality products, Sarasota Glass and Mirror can meet your every need.
For 42 years, Sarasota Glass and Mirror has been the area's premier supplier and installer of quality glass products for your home or business. As an authorized PGT WinGuard dealer, we know how to protect your home with everything from the PGT WinGuard impact-resistant windows and doors to shower enclosures and decorative mirrors. The Sarasota Glass and Mirror team has the knowledge to tackle any project.
Is your mop a dirty, disgusting mess? You need the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System, the only mop and bucket that spins the dirt away. A system that cleans practically anything and everything with super absorbent microfiber. Dip it in the washer side and the mess releases into the bucket. Then place it in the dryer side and push on the pedal. You get a clean mop head that's practically dry and ready for more. And your hands will never again touch a dirty, disgusting mop. The heads are washable.